that's not working. There we go. It's starting to come up. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Race Time Radio. Hey, sorry for the delay. We had a little microphone malfunction. That's the first time that's done that here in the Race Time Radio studio. But nevertheless, we are all up and ready to go for tonight's Race Time Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight, all live on SiriusXM Channel 167 Canada Talks, and live on our YouTube page, as well as RaceTimeRadio.com. And we got a smoker lined up for you here tonight on the program. Feeling a lot better than I was last week at the same time. I believe it was COVID-19 that ended up coming through this house, and definitely wiped myself out. Did a real good number on Susie Q as well, but last Sunday hit me like a ton of bricks, but feeling a lot better tonight here in the Race Time Radio studio. Let me tell you, we got coming on the show tonight. We're going to kick things off out on Canada's East Coast with a NASCAR champion. Yeah, we got Jason Groves going to join us, driver of the number 74 from Eastbound International Speedway. We will catch up with Jason here shortly. We'll also hear from J.R. Fitzpatrick. He is the 2022 APC presented by Grysdale, I believe, still. But APC, he is the APC champion. We'll hear from J.R. Fitzpatrick. The Qwick Superstock champion was crowned on Friday night at Delaware Speedway, and it's Pete Vanderwyst, and he will join the show tonight. We'll get off to Canada's East Coast once again and go all the way out to Halifax area, and we'll grab Tim Terry and find out how things all shook out after the big storm hit out there. I know they had a lot of devastation. Racing this weekend was postponed due to the weather conditions. We'll check in with Tim Terry and set the stage for what's coming up next weekend. It is the finale for the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour. So we'll check in with Tim Terry in just a bit. We'll make it off to Canada's West Coast. We'll check in with the Super Seal RS1 Cup Series champion. We have Ryley Seibert out on that West Coast that's going to join us live. We'll talk to him about his day at Area 27, along with the championship. He finished the season off with 2 big feature wins, and I look forward to catching up with Ryley. We will also attempt to try and get today's NASCAR Pinty Series race winner from Delaware Speedway. The cars are on track, less than 100 to go. They have been battling weather today, but the cars are on track, and they are completing the season. We hope to catch up with the winner. Brandon Watson, I believe, still in the lead of that one out there, doing a great job in the 9 car. But we'll try and check in with not only the race winner, we'll also try and get a hold of Marc-Antoine Cameron, the 96 Paille Chevrolet. He is the 2022 NASCAR Series champion out there on Canada's East Coast. But what do you say we get to the hotline and get that first guest up on the hotline, and we'll bring in a three-time champion in Jason Groves, the driver of the number 74 from Eastbound International Speedway. He's on the hotline with us. What's going on, Jay? How you doing? Hello, Jason. No, Jason. Jason, have we got you? No, doesn't sound like we have Jay. So I'm going to drop that line off, so I'll let you reestablish a connection with Jason. And I am going to hit this quick break. That's what I'm going to do, because I need to do a little mic sorting out here. I'm going to hit this first break. We will be back with you live tonight on Race Time.
Come on, wake up, honey. I got a little money coming my way. We gotta get out of here. If you find me some cigarettes, little whiskey and me.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Hey, this is JP from Peterborough Speedway. This Thanksgiving weekend, October the 7th to 9th, we're hosting our annual Autumn Colors Classic, the biggest racing event in Ontario. 3 days of racing action at Peterborough Speedway presented by Lucas Oil in Pure Country.
All right, man, get ready to go.
This year, the Speedway hosts 10 divisions of racing action with the best drivers in the country appearing. Friday, it's first round qualifying for the Bone Stocks, Mini Stocks, Super Stocks, Legends, Hot Rods, along with the Young Gun races.
You know what you gotta do.
Gates will open at 5 and racing will start at 6. Saturday, October the 8th, it's second round qualifying action with B features, the late models and junior late models along with outlaw midgets added to the bill. Sunday, October the 9th wraps it all up with feature events for all divisions, including the late model Electric City 167. Peterborough Speedway and Pure Country bring you to Crown Jewel Racing, the 29th annual Autumn Colors Classic weekend of October the 7th to the 9th. Visit peterboroughspeedway.com to book your tickets in advance.
Good job, driver, good job.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how. AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alper.
Rush holds a special place in our hearts and in the record books. They've sold more than 40 million copies around the world. They have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Officers of the Order of Canada. And they've released 24 gold records and 14 platinum albums, placing them 5th for the most consecutive gold or platinum studio albums by any rock band.
From the high banks of Daytona, we cover it all. Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal! Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Race Time Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio. I just believe we have everything all hooked up here. Let's try this one more time, shall we? Do we have Jason Groves on the hotline? Hello, Jay. Hello, Jason. Sue, drop the connection and refire it, please. Okay, so Sue has got Jay. There we go. Jay, have I got you now? I haven't got Jay yet. Okay, something is definitely going on with my board here in the studio, but we're going to try and see if we can adjust it up, and hopefully we can get Jason. Jason, you let me know when you can hear me, my friend.
I can hear you a little bit, Joe, but all I can hear is the music playing.
Okay. How about now, Jay? There we go.
We got you now.
You got me now. Look at that. Things change on this board overnight. But, yeah, we've got it all sorted out. How are you doing there, champ?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Not doing too bad at all, man. You had a good year at Eastbound International Speedway. Now, am I correct in saying that's your third championship, or is this actually the fourth one?
No, third. It
is the third. That's what I kind of thought. But, Jay, time passes, and it flies by real fast when you're having fun. And, man, that 74 car knows its way around Eastbound International Speedway. How was the season for you?
Overall, it was a great season. We pulled out 5 wins out of a 12 race, I believe. And a lot of top 5s. We had a little bit of trouble the last 2 weeks there. We hit the wall and just never got the car back to where we wanted it for the last race. But overall, it was a good year. So now, is that it? The season completed now for you guys? Or do you still have one more special event to run? As of now, as far as I know, it's all completed. It is. It's wrapped up for the year. Post-pandemic, man, it's got to feel good to get that thing out of the way and to get things back on track. Did it feel like more of a natural year, Jason? Oh, definitely. Everything felt, everything was back to normal. Racing was good. It was good to be back at it. Man, and good to hear, too, that you were right back on it. How many feature wins did you come away with? 5.
5. Wow, that's not a bad year at all. Were they scattered throughout the course of the season, or did you heavy them up in different locations?
It seemed like after the start of the year we pulled off, I think it was 3 pretty quick, and just it was a couple after that. But the first years that's where we capitalized on.
Oh, man. And to get that points lead and to be able to keep the pressure on, so to speak, you run against a real tough cast of characters out there on Canada's East Coast, right out on the Rock. Probably no different this year, Jay, than it's ever been. Did it seem tougher this year? Was it? Did you have an easier time with it, or was it, in fact, tougher?
Definitely wasn't easy. It was definitely a hard battle there with a few cars. A few guys had some trouble at the start of the year, which made it a little bit more easier. But overall, it was definitely a tough year. But we hold on the lead and kept it there, so that's all that matters.
And that's the way to have it. How about the crew? Did you have the same crew, guys? I know your dad, yourself, and man, you got a real good, solid crew. Did you have any new crew members this year, or same old cast of characters?
Oh, we had all the same guys. With Fance there, keeping the cars going, 2 cars going, is definitely putting 2 cars great out on the racetrack, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and how did Owen make out this year? I guess that's your teammate, correct?
Yep. He finished second overall. He was the one chasing us there at the end, so we had to make sure we had to keep ahead of him.
Chomping at the bit, that youngster. He's been a shining light since he got out of that Bandolero and jumped into that late model. Man, that kid has not skipped a beat. He's got to be one of the toughest competitors you face out there.
Yeah, definitely. When he's on his game, he's definitely one of the top ones to beat for sure, definitely.
Now, I know he definitely wouldn't move over, and I know you wouldn't move over for him as the races all unfold. What's it like having a teammate? Because I know you used to fly solo yourself.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but when it comes down to when you're going for the win, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to go for the win.
I can well imagine. Guys like Phil Fowler out there, Wayne Walsh, the 99 car. Wayne, always a tough competitor. Did Wayne run much this year? Was he out there with you?
Yep, Wayne ran a full season. He had a few hard races off the start, but he was definitely always there competing for the win.
Now, did he run Chevrolet or did he run typical Dodge? I know he's always been the Dodge guy, but the last time I spoke with him, which was quite a while back, I know he was flirting with dropping a Chevrolet in there and trying to gain some of the advantages that a Chevy would have over a Dodge, as if he needed any kind of advantage.
Seemed like, I think he said after the first year he might have had his Dodge in, but he had a bit of trouble, and then after that he put the Chevy in, and then he finally... when he put a good motor in, he finally got fast again.
Yeah, no surprise there. You guys always do a great job. The track with the, excuse me, with the Pindy Series making its debut out there on the Rock this year, we did see some different changes at the facility. Nothing major to the racing surface, but there was definitely changes at the facility. Did they all lend itself well to you guys on a regular basis?
Yeah, overall wasn't too bad. The front stretch they widened out probably extra 5-6 feet, so that was good. To get that more arc going into turn 1. I like that. The back stretch was a bit different with the wall there. And entering turn 1, they added some Jersey Bears entering and on the bottom, and that was a little bit different to get used to at first.
Yeah. This sort of narrows your window up a bit. It'd be kind of nice, as mentioned there, on the exit of coming off turn 4, to have a little more run room out there would be kind of nice. But it would definitely change your line going around that speedway, wouldn't it?
It definitely changed it a lot, actually. But more than you realize, if you use the track, like some guys didn't really use that extra bit of pavement, but when you used it, it definitely helped out a lot.
Now, there was a big storm out there this weekend. I know it hit the Maritimes real hard, and I know it really nailed the far end of Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, but Newfoundland hit Port aux Basques there pretty big. How about your end of the Rock? Were things okay out there?
Yeah, we had it pretty good. We had a little bit of wind there for a while, and a little bit of rain overnight, but overall wasn't too bad. But Port aux Basques been hit pretty hard, and they got a lot of damage down that way.
Yeah, our thoughts go out to absolutely everybody out there in the Maritimes that was affected. And, of course, Newfoundland, you guys don't need any more. After coming off a pandemic, and you guys always seem to get the edge of that storm. Nice to hear that the St. John's, maybe Conception Bay area got a little bit of relief this time and didn't get nailed with everything. Not to say that it's good that the other end got it, but normally that's you guys getting her all hammered up.
Yeah, we had pretty good this time.
Yeah, incredible. So now Jason Groves, 74, the champion at Eastbound International Speedway. Will you be making the trip? I would take it back to Charlotte to collect all the hardware.
If they have something this year, I would think we probably would, but we haven't heard nothing yet if they are having the banquet this year or not. Because last year they done something at Daytona for our championship. So we went to Daytona for Speed Weeks, and we done down there. So I don't know what their plan is this year.
So did you get a chance to hang around and catch the action at New Smyrna and to do up all this stuff for Speed Weeks at all?
Yeah, we spent I think it was 2 or 3 nights at New Smyrna and one at Daytona and out to Volusia for a night. So we made 5 days, I think it was, just go watch some racing.
Man, those dirt cars at Volusia County, tell me they don't put a show on.
Oh, I thought it was exciting, definitely.
Incredible. I can see you one day, Jason, jumping in and taking a car. I know it's a hell of a haul for you guys, or it would be, but can you see yourself doing it one day?
I'd definitely like to. I can't say it ever happened, but definitely would love to.
You betcha. So the plan now, of course, you're going to soak up this championship, take all the accolades that are involved with it, but let's take a look down the road. What are you thinking for 2023? Is there another shot at it? Do you want to go do it again, or what's the thoughts heading into the future?
Right now, I haven't really thought much on it. After you finish the year, you're just relaxing for a bit. Maybe in a month's time or so, we'll start thinking about it and see what we're going to do, but I really don't have a plan yet.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. Man, the championship is only, a little better than a week old. And that was a hard championship. How is the car? What do you got to do to it to get it ready for next year? Or is it pretty well set to go?
Well, from last year to this season, we never done a thing with her. We just put her in the garage. We wouldn't even plan on going racing this year. And then our fans decided the night before, give me a text and said, we'll get the car ready. And I said, sure, we never done anything with her yet.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we got her at the garage. Next morning, we throwed aboard the trailer and went in, and we won the double-header weekend, and we never even touched her from the year before. But this year, we definitely got a bit of work to do to try to get her back to, if we do decide to go back at it, and get her ready for next year. We got a lot of work to do, I think.
Never skipped a beat. That's you, Jason Groves. Love watching you on that racetrack. Man, you were always one of my favorites. As a fan, looking out and watching you guys, so many good cars, so many potential winners that can be in victory lane. Kind of cool that you did it 5 times in 2022 and picked up your 3rd championship. Sponsorship on that number 74, I know they got to mean a ton to you. Who did you have on there this year?
We had G. Groves & Sons and A. St. George and Dave's Towing this year.
Good lineup, good solid support. You've had a lot of them for quite a while.
Yeah, Dave's Towing was a new one this year, but A. St. George and G. Groves & Sons, they were the ones with us all the time. And we had a few other ones that last year, but hopefully some of them will be back again next year.
Do you think maybe, Jay, we're going to see you one day in that Pro Stock Tour? You would fit that series like a glove as well. Do you ever got any aspirations of, maybe doing something like Farrow's doing, jumps into that tour? It's a monumental task where you got to, always zip across over to the mainland. But, man, you'd fit that series like a glove.
It's something we definitely thought about. Like, I know every now and then I might get a text come through and fans to send pictures of the cars for sale or something. So I guess you never know what can happen there, but it's definitely a thought that we always talked about.
Well, and, speaking with Mike James, and I stay up quite a bit with Phil Fowler, and speaking of some of the guys, Sounds like there was invitationals either done this year or lined up to go this year. And it sounds like there's a few pro stocks coming together out on the Rock.
Yeah, they're trying to get something together, but it's not easy because I guess the car counts are getting lower this year than probably they should. So to bring another series in, it's definitely going to be hard to keep the car counts up.
Yeah, and it is. And, you know, that's not just on the Rock. You know, car counts were down everywhere you look. But I got a sneaky suspicion that come 2023, guys are going to get a chance to reload. And, you know, maybe some of the ones that were on the sidelines this year will be back in behind the wheel. And it would be great to see absolutely everybody back out and get some of those other competitors back in there and bolster those car counts and numbers. And it would be kind of cool to see everything sort of get back to normal pre-pandemic from a car count standpoint as well. Great to see the race fans, though. Man, they showed up out in Eastbound. A lot of crowds look fantastic this year.
Yep, yeah, the fans seemed like it was pretty good. It's good to see because that's what's going to keep our sport going for sure. And we have a lot of support out there. That's definitely true.
Well, good job on you for doing everything that you did. You know, congratulations to you and the crew, to all your sponsors, and way to go, man. A third championship, and I can't wait to find out what you're going to end up doing through the off season to get ready for next year. Hopefully you do get ready for next year and defend that championship. You're definitely one that fans love watching, and that 74 car, man, always a threat every time you get into a race. Very, very cool.
Thanks, Joe. And I just want to thank all my team and, like I said, all my sponsors and my family and them for putting up with me at this racing and go from there.
You betcha. Jason Groves, thanks so much for the time tonight. It took us 2 weeks to do it, but, hey, we got her done, and I'll be in touch with you through the off season. I'll be shaking your chain halfway through the year, and we'll find out what's happening in the middle of the winter with that 74.
Sounds good.
You betcha, brother. Thanks so much for the time. Thanks, Danielle, for hooking us up as well, buddy. You bet. That is Jason Groves, driver, the number 74, the champion at Eastbound International Speedway. They are a NASCAR-sanctioned speedway, and that's the third NASCAR title for Jason Groves. You got to put Wayne Walsh in there as a past champion as well. I do believe now, I don't know for sure, but I would think Josh Collins has got one of those championships as well. I could be wrong on that. It could be right in between Jason Groves and Wayne Walsh collecting all those titles. But I'll tell you, you get an opportunity next summer. You want to make it to Eastbound International Speedway, and you want to see that driver right there. And the 74 does a great job behind the wheel. And congratulations to absolutely all of them on that 74 team. Okay, we're going to hit actually a planned break now. When we come back, we're going to have the APC 2022 champion. He did it last night at Delaware Speedway. The number 84, J.R. Fitzpatrick, is going to join us live here on Race Time Radio next. Stay there. It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Qwick fire starters have fueled this sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Qwick fire starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Qwick fire starters. No harmful chemicals, and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Qwick fire starters, the world's best fire starter.
Rev TV, your motorsports and automotive destination. Watch live races from around the world and right here at home, from 2 wheels to 4 and so much more. Rev TV is your source for motorsports. Rev TV features exclusive race series, up-to-date news coverage, documentaries, how-to programs, and adrenaline-filled lifestyle programs 24/7. Go green with Rev TV. Contact your TV provider to order.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is fueled by AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
If you're a Springsteen fan, you just found the promised land. Hear rare interviews and performances. Live concerts.
Is there anybody alive out there?
Celebrity guest DJs.
This is Rob Lowe.
Hey, baby, it's Little Steven here.
And more exclusives when listening to Bruce Springsteen's channel.
Welcome, Bruce Springsteen, to E Street Radio, your home away from home.
Great to be here.
E Street Radio, SiriusXM Channel 20.
Hey, this is JP from Peterborough Speedway. This Thanksgiving weekend, October the 7th to 9th, we're hosting our annual Autumn Colors Classic, the biggest racing event in Ontario. 3 days of racing action at Peterborough Speedway presented by Lucas Oil in Pure Country.
All right, man, get ready to go.
This year, the Speedway hosts 10 divisions of racing action with the best drivers in the country appearing. Friday, it's first round qualifying for the Bone Stocks, Mini Stocks, Super Stocks, Legends, Hot Rods, along with the Young Gun races.
You know what you gotta do.
Gates will open at 5 and racing will start at 6. Saturday, October the 8th, it's second round qualifying action with B features, the late models and junior late models along with outlaw midgets added to the bill. Sunday, October the 9th wraps it all up with feature events for all divisions, including the late model Electric City 167. Peterborough Speedway and Pure Country bring you to Crown Jewel Racing, the 29th annual Autumn Colors Classic weekend of October the 7th to the 9th. Visit peterboroughspeedway.com to book your tickets in advance.
Good job, driver, good job.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Welcome back.
Race Time Radio.
I think I like it too.
And welcome back, everybody, live tonight on RaceTimeRadio.com, live on SiriusXM, and live on our new YouTube channel at RaceTimeRadioTV. Sure glad you could all tune in live here tonight. Let's get back to the hotline, shall we? And let's welcome in the 2022 APC champion, the number 84, J.R. Fitzpatrick. He did it, and he did it in style last night at Delaware. He joins us on the hotline. What's going on there, J.R.? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Congratulations on the championship, man. I know how much this one means to you. You guys really worked your butt off to get this one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a big deal for our team, considering how rough last year went and how we really didn't know what our future was going to be. Not necessarily, wasn't necessarily looking very positive, but it's just one of those deals. We just fell back in love with it, and we went at it strong this year. And I think switching manufacturers was a huge plus for us. It just gave me that feel in the car that I've been missing for the last few years, and it's great. It definitely gives us some confidence going into the playoffs.
JR, you hit your stride each and every time in that race car this year. I think back over the series, and I didn't miss a lap. And I can't remember one night where I looked and I went, wow, the 84 of Fitzpatrick is off by a country mile here tonight. I know you struggled a couple times in practice, but, man, by the time it was green flag time, Teddy McAllister and that whole 84 Meineke bunch, you guys got that car just a rocking and a rolling right where you wanted it.
Yeah, the thing is with practice this year is we were all on a tire inventory, and I think a lot of guys played that inventory with different strategies, I suppose. I mean, I'll be honest, I was on my tire inventory all the way up until, I believe, the last oval race, and it was one of those deals where you got to start looking for tires because, with all them heat cycles on them, after all those weeks, all those laps on them, it came to a point you're not learning anything. So everybody was playing a tire game. Really, practice didn't mean anything other than just the feel, and then when it came down to it, we didn't know if we were fighting tire or not. So there was a couple times, we were 15th or 16th in practice, but I just, like, for example, Sunset, when we were in practice there, we were 15th, and I really didn't know if the car was that bad or if it was just tire. So we just put the car all back like how we offloaded, and sure enough, we're in the race, and we laid it to him that night. The car was literally awesome that night. So, the team's been working hard. It's been a stressful couple of weeks leading up to this because we had about a month off there, and we just replaced a lot of worn-out stuff and full-checked it and cleaned it a bunch. And, there is a such thing as over-preparing, and I think we might have been a little over-prepared for the weekend. But it's great that we got it done. And a little disappointed with the race, only because the car had tremendous amount of speed. We were definitely a top-5 car, and then I blistered a right front tire. So we'll look into why that happened and move on.
Shea Gimmel wins the race last night, but JR, you ended up winning the war. I know you didn't want to race big picture. I heard you and Clinton Jeffrey early in the night before the green come out, and he alluded to it, said, JR, tonight, this is your title to lose. Are you going to, big picture race, or what is the plan? And I know your response was, man, I hate racing like this, but I do have to for my crew, for absolutely the full effort. We do have to big picture race a wee bit. But I could see it in the closing laps. JR, you almost took it through that big picture out the window and just went for the win. I could see it.
Yeah, a major part of that is my spotter, Steven. I mean, he's really good at keeping me cool and remembering what the big picture is. And yeah, it's tough, like when we were battling up the third there with Triton last ditch, and I think we were better than him, just being very careful because I didn't want to spin him and have to go to the back, just if that ever would have happened. And then while I was behind him, that's when the steering wheel started shaking, and I thought, I think I'm getting a flat. And that was with like 20 to go, but it was the blistering right front. So I just literally rolled over and let everybody go that caught me. And yeah, as a racer, that sucks. You don't want to do that, but you earn other people's respect, and hopefully one day they return the favor to me. And hey, we came home, we won the championship, and it was great to see Shea win because he was one of those drivers, that I think would have been battling for this championship if he didn't have such bad luck. If that luck ever moves on, I think he would be definitely the next up and coming guy to watch because he's been fast everywhere, and he laid a whipping on all of us at Delaware last night and won the Great Canadian 300 weekend.
Yeah, big, and it was huge. What a great weekend of racing. I'm just sort of tuned in to the NASCAR Pinty Series finale right now, and they just had the big one. I don't know whether you've got it on in the background, but JR, that's something that the APC Series did not do all season long. Out of all the events, normally, we end up with a stinker or two throughout the course of the year where there's a bunch of hurt feelings, there's a bunch of tore-up race cars, and, it happens in racing, but it didn't this year in the APC Series. Everybody kept their game on, and the respect seemed to be there all season long. Did it feel like that inside the car as well?
I mean, I think everybody had their own little individual issues. I mean, I got into it with probably, 4 or 5 guys. Whether it was, I moved them out of the way and they didn't appreciate it, or I think there was another guy where a restart or something, I got into him and I ruined his day because he topped the fence, and it's just a product of how close everybody is and how strong the racing is. At the end of the day, all those guys had issues with congratulated me on the championship. So, I think a lot of the issues that some of the drivers have in APC, everyone knows it's not personal. It's just the competition's so close. I mean, everybody, I believe yesterday in qualifying, I think there was 13 guys under a track record. I mean, that's pretty impressive. That speaks for, the tech of APC. That speaks for the competition, all the teams. Everybody's just so close. So, we really only had one race where there's a big wreck where there's 3 cars that were hurt pretty bad, but the product's getting better every year, and the competition is just insane. I mean, Delaware is not my best track, but in practice I was, really driving for all I could, and the best I could get was an O out of that car, and there were guys running low 90s, so pretty amazing how strong the competition is, and when you're that close, there's going to be some bumping and banging, hurt feelings, but I have a feeling that at the end of October there, I'm pretty sure everybody will buy each other a drink.
And like new track record, as mentioned, we've seen now late models into the 17-second bracket on a half-mile track. That is that's trucking. Now, don't matter how you cut it. You guys were just literally flying around there. JR, now you got the championship. Now the pressure is off. You get a chance to celebrate this one. We know early in the season you were, putting them up and laying them down at Flamborough Speedway. On the Saturday night program, we've got Autumn Colors Classic Weekend coming up, the 29th annual at Peterborough Speedway. The Pro Late Model 167 is to come there. You've got Frosttoberfest coming up next weekend at Flamborough. What's the thoughts? What are you going to be doing? I can't imagine you're going to be sitting on the couch.
No, so this Saturday we're going to have, Saturday coming up, we're going to have our team over and have a barbecue and celebrate, enjoy ourselves. And then on Sunday we're going to go to the final Triple Crown race because we're actually leading the Drysdale Triple Crown point standings for that race. So that would be on the Sunday of the Frosttoberfest special at Flamborough. And then, I'm probably going to go to Peterborough. Peterborough track, it's just a track I love. We were really good when we were there before. Just kind of waiting on rules packages, and because they try and incorporate the limited late model in the show, and so we have to change our car quite a bit to go, so it won't be the same package as I ran APC there, but we just got to wait on rules and tires and whatnot, and we'll see if we can claim another Electric City 167 win there too, and then really that'll be it. I just plan on doing those two. Eventually, I always said maybe one day I'd love to venture down to the U.S. like Speed Weeks or something to do some racing down there, but it all takes money, and nowadays I'm pretty content just doing what I've been doing.
And you're doing a great job at it. There's nothing wrong with doing what you're doing. I can guarantee you that. Nice to see the old boy was there for the championship. Your dad, John, was in the house last night. He would have been pretty proud and pretty happy.
Yeah, both my mom and my dad were there. Two of my older sisters were there, and my brother-in-laws and my nieces. So a lot of people came to enjoy the show, and we had a lot of friends from May.com, and it was a lot of fun. The show got ended pretty early, so we got to celebrate a little bit. Nobody can celebrate as long as my buddy Stretch. He was up the latest. But we definitely enjoyed ourselves, and tonight I'm just kind of taking it easy, and tomorrow we're going to offload the car and get back at her and see if we can win on the weekend.
Well, I know you still got a couple now that you're going to be doing. Question for you, and I was hoping, I called John earlier today, hoping to get Caselli maybe on this show by the end of the night to talk to him about Frosttoberfest. There was talk, JR, and you may even know the answer to this one, with the one Drysdale Triple Crown race getting rained out. Is there going to be two main features in the Drysdale Triple Crown this coming weekend, or is there just going to be the one?
They were trying to figure out how they were going to do that. They were trying to incorporate like a 150 lapper or do double points or something like that. But I honestly think it's just going to be a wash on the second one, and just do the normal 100 laps. Just stick to the normal program. I think that's a smart move on Flamborough's behalf. Just because I don't know how many cars we're going to get. Hopefully we get a lot, but it's just one of those deals, right? At the end of the year, a lot of people are spent. They're wore out. They want to spend more time with their family. They've been gone all summer. So I think you'll see about the same amount of late models as we see at the first show, which I believe is 15.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know, because I've heard rumors there's a driver coming that hasn't raced in quite a few years, and he's a multi-track champion there. So there's going to be a few new old faces, I guess you could say. So I think 15 to 17 cars would be good. And, if they all just let me win a Triple Crown deal for once, that'd be great.
I don't think that anybody's going to be letting you do anything that you want to do. Just like forever, JR, you're going to have to go out there and earn it. I know that's the way you love doing it. But in Flamborough Speedway, that's one track. I think you could do that track blindfolded and still come away with the top one or two.
Yeah, that's basically where I started my full-size stock car career, I guess, with Flamborough in 2002. I was 13 in a late model. And yeah, it's just one of those tracks I just feel very comfortable with. Obviously, it's 25 minutes down the road. We used to test there a lot with Pinties and late models, and when I built street stocks, TQ midgets, I've driven a lot of different cool cars there. And, you know, if I was to do some extra racing next year, it'd be cool if I get some kind of program in any kind of car to race more and support Flamborough, you know, or maybe even Delaware Speedway, because I'm really loving that place. The vibe there was incredible last night. I mean, man, when we came to the green and all those folks in the stands had their cell phone lights on, it was pretty incredible. So yeah, hopefully maybe next year I can support a few more tracks with their local shows. I just gotta figure out what kind of division I'd want to do it in, and hopefully do a little bit more racing. But definitely would love to take this car to the IWK 250 next year. I really want to get back there. We had an opportunity to go this year. It's just, you know, with the cost of fuel and all that, a lot of my team members couldn't make the adventure, so we just kind of pulled the plug on it. And it wasn't with my own team, so it wouldn't have really been the same. Maybe if we plan soon enough and early enough, we can make something happen there.
Oh, tell me that wouldn't be cool. That would be that would be extraordinary, JR. Unfinished business down there. You fit like a glove, no matter where you jump in. But that race right there, to go with all you do and all you've done in 2022. That would be really, really cool to see you out there. The other one I think would fit you like a glove that you really got to look at, and I know it's a hell of a haul, but that Rattler 300 to kick the year off in April out on Canada's West Coast. JR, that Penticton Speedway and you at that track, man, I'll tell you what, it would be some cool to see you roll in there.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that too. It's just, it was kind of I think now that they have a year under their belt of how they made all that happen, and I would like to be one of the only Ontario guys to make it, because the logistics are pretty wild. It was a few weeks before our first race, and we weren't ready at the time. So yeah, I mean, there's always those events you want to go to, right? Like, I would like to try and venture off into New Brunswick a little bit next year, because there's a couple tracks there I'd love to get to that look really cool. And yeah, it's just one of those deals, you know. You start traveling around, or you just do the tour, or it's a lot of things to think about over the winter. We got lots of time. Car's in good shape still, so we don't have a lot to do to it. Just some updates, and yeah, we'll see what we can do.
And needless to say, the 84 car, not for sale, right? You're going to hang on to this one?
Well, it's funny. So I actually had someone to ask if I wanted to sell it, and my wife, Alora, right away says no. Because I have had two race cars that have really been really good to me, and it was that old Hampy car that we ended up selling to Kyle Steckley to make his first few starts with. That car we won the Flamborough track championship with, and it was just an unbelievable car. If we would have revamped it over the winter, we could have did great things with that car. And then it was the same car I took the IWK 250 that year. Mm-hmm. And then it was my 2018 APC winning car, which is the same car I won the Oscar championship with. So the big boss tells me it's not happening.
Yeah, you hang on to this one. You can get another full season out of it, no questions asked. JR, congratulations on the championship. Now, this is your second APC title. Is this one any sweeter than the first one? Was this one harder to get than that one? Any thoughts there?
They always get sweeter because the competition is a lot harder. I mean, it's only our fourth full-time season in APC, and we won 2 championships. So it's definitely something to be proud of, because I've done selective starts here and there, and then about 3/4 of the season when I started in the 37 camp, and then it was, what I do? I missed 2 races in 2020. So, hey, it's just it's been great. I mean, I've always said to people, you know, if you took the rule book from day one of the APC to now, things are a lot more clarified and clear. And when you go through tech, it's literally the room of doom now. You know, you don't get away with anything. So it's a stressful time getting through there, but I give, obviously, our tech guy, Daryl Timmerman, and the APC Tour a lot of credit, because I've always said that a good tour is always backed by a good tech, because you could let anything go and watch how crazy it gets. So this one feels really good, just knowing how close all the cars are. And I had a lot of fun this year, right? Because being under the McCall banner is, when you go test or when you learn something, you're collectively earning and gaining notes, which agreed upon everybody is you're supposed to share. So, and that's what we did. And the first couple races when we were winning there, I thought we had a little bit of an edge, and then everyone catches up, right? So you just got to keep working, and thankfully the guys I've gotten to work with from McCall's are just unreal, very smart. Love bouncing ideas off with them, and just it's been incredible. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, and it shows. It shows in the results, and it definitely shows on you. JR, congratulations on the championship. Hey, what's the win total at this year with all you've done? I know you had some wins to kick off Flamborough Speedway. What's the win total? I bet you got that stat sitting off to the side of the mind.
Yeah, I think we won 10 out of 15 or 16. I can't remember. It's definitely 10 wins. It's either out of 15 or 16 races, I believe.
Wow, good running. And you got 2 more potentials coming up, right?
Well, definitely. So it's definitely not as many races we wanted to run this year, but with the modified we got to run in those Flamborough races, and then when Chris House allowed me to drive his awesome race car at Flamborough for the first Triple Crown, we won that. So yeah, I'm pretty certain it's 10 or 11, but I think it's 10 out of 15 or 16 races.
Well, congratulations on all of them. And I know we will always have your seat shined up here, as we will the winner for next week, right here on Race Time Radio. But we always got to thank you for your time tonight. And congratulations to you and the family and just the whole crew and absolutely everybody. Give those sponsors a hit, man. I know they mean a ton.
Yeah, thank you. And obviously a good friend of mine, Dave Wood, he's been a huge help to me, and not just on the race car, just in general. H2Go Mobile Wash, good friend of mine from high school. ATV Depot up in Sauble Beach. They've been with me since 2019, and just a great partnership. Cambridge Rigging Equipment Express, Transaxle Heavy Duty Truck and Trailer Parts, great group there. Done a lot of work with them, and they've been with my team since I owned a Superstock team, which we won 2 championships with in 2012. So he's been around a long time. Just everybody, man. It's just been a great year. Can't say enough about everybody.
Dynamite stuff. JR, thanks for the time tonight. You go relax a bit and get ready to go. You tell Teddy to get that machine fired up. He's got some dancing to do.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, sounds good.
You betcha. JR Fitzpatrick, driver, the number 84, your 2022 APC Series champion. And, man, what a suiting night last night. Again, congratulations to the 3-car Shea Gemmel. I know Sue is going to grab Pete Vanderwyst. We're going to get Pete on the hotline. He is the Superstock Qwick Superstock Series champion, and we're going to get him up on the hotline right now, and we'll speak with Petey and get his feel for what all went down. You know, he had heartbreak at Delaware Speedway a week before. He was 10 points to the good, going to go into the Superstock points championship there at Delaware, and man, the wheels fell off the car, and it broke Petey's heart for the night. But look at this as a race team. You know he's a crafty veteran. When the guys take that car back to the shop, fix everything that needed to be fixed, and then head out on Friday night under the lights at Delaware Speedway and go out and chase down a championship. And there was a load of cars that could have come away with that championship, but it was the 7-car of Pete Vanderwyst coming away with that championship, and he joins us right now on the hotline. What's going on, Petey? How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Joe?
Good. Fantastic, man. Congratulations on the Qwick Superstock Championship. You did her, buddy.
Thanks, pal. It was definitely a big redemption from the weekend before.
Oh, yeah. Talk about the the agony of defeat the week before into what was a stupendous night, Friday night under the lights. And, man, those guys didn't make it easy on you, Petey. You earned this one.
We definitely did. I mean, we got home from the track on Friday night and had a funeral on Saturday morning and a wedding on Saturday night. So Sunday morning, the boys showed up at the shop and we got everything all tore apart and started putting everything all back together and fabricating lowers and spindles and upper control arms and remounting the sway bar and getting everything all back together. We didn't make it in time to go testing on Monday night, but we sure got a ton of work done in a short period of time, and we seemed to get it pretty close for Friday night for practice. We were off a little bit, and I think we were fourth or fifth fastest in practice, but we made some more changes before qualifying, and we hit something, and we were able to break a road track record and qualify on the pole by over a tenth and a half on the second place car.
Man, that's kind of unnerving too, right? When you're looking for just this little bit that's going to put you into maybe a little bit better of a comfort zone, but you know that if you make these changes and it happens to go the other way, you got nowhere to turn, right? It's a 50-lap feature. It's going to be bang bang. You know it's going to go fast. Pete, the guys did a stupendous job and gave you exactly what you needed under you to go out there and to get done what needed to be done. I know in Victory Lane, you were off to the side as the champion. You didn't win the race, and they were doing the calculations, and you could almost hear the calculators burning it up. And I was doing the same thing here going, is it Pete or is it like one of the other 7 guys that it could have been? And lo and behold, they came out with the announcement that it, in fact, was you. And, man, you could see the relief on your face, buddy, and it looked fantastic.
Well, there was definitely a relief without question. We kind of knew when we got the lead, we knew that we had that extra point that we got with the extra lead, that we knew that we were in pretty good shape where Garrett was running. And, and unfortunately, Lane got caught up with that drive shaft in qualifying. They got caught up in that other incident, midway through the race, having to come and start from the back. So that was unfortunate for him. But we just kind of monitored where Garrett was and where we were, and monitoring how Rick Spencer-Wall was coming at us. And once he got to my bumper, my spotter just said, "Pete, just let him go. You've got this. If you finish second, you're pulling away from the 17. Just keep going, and you've got this in the bag." So we were 99.9% sure. While they were tabulating and doing all the calculating, we were 99% sure, but I didn't really want to get emotionally involved at that point until they actually came out and said it.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. Nothing would be, if someone just slipped and missed a point here or point there, and then all of a sudden they got to come back and say, "Oh, sorry, Pete, not you."
Exactly.
And that would suck. Good to know that you got to, make sure that everything is the way it is. But, man, the Qwick really has gone to the hip and created something here in the APC series that is really, truly unique. Watching the super stock class, there's such a variety of car and, talent to go along with it. Kind of cool to see the byproduct of everything on the racetrack, and it was a cool series this year.
Yeah, well, and it absolutely is. And I mean, the APC cars are, I consider them almost like an F1 car. The technology that's evolved with those cars over the years from when we previously ran the Pro Late models. I mean, with the bump stops, the bump springs, I mean, everything that they've got going on in those cars is so wildly different than it was back when I was racing back in, 07 and 08. And then coming back last year with the super stock and, virtually with the stock clip and, the Camaro clip and the big spring, et cetera, it was more back to my old traditional cast car, realm. And it was more of an understanding of what I had, what we could do with the car as far as knowledge from setups. So it made it, transitionally, just made it a whole lot easier for us to get back into it. And then this year, building that new car and going the metric way that we did with McCall and Burt McCall and them guys, it just made made it challenging at the beginning to try and get that figured out. But we got it sorted out and tried a bunch of different things and kept working on it and tweaking on it, and we've got that car pretty dialed in now.
Yeah, you sure do. We got a couple big special events. I'm not sure if Superstock plays a role at either end. I do believe so, though, at Frosttoberfest at Flamborough Speedway coming up next weekend. And then, of course, the 29th Annual Autumn Colors Classic Weekend at Peterborough Speedway. Does the 7 bunch have their eyes sort of focused in on anything from here forward?
We are contemplating on running at Flamborough next Sunday. The Autumn Colors probably not, only because and there's a ton of classes that race that weekend, and it's just a big weekend to be away from. You're gone for basically 3 or 4 days on that deal. So I mean, we ran it back in 2005, and ran really well there. And I love the Peterborough Speedway track, and everything JF does there is awesome. But there's just a lot of time spent doing that one. And if the Velocity for Sunset gets rescheduled, I'd like to entertain that one as well.
You'd be a player at any of them, I can well imagine. Hit the sponsors on that championship card. There's 7. You did awesome, and I know they mean a ton.
Thank you very much. Just want to thank the CIPG group, the Wild Boar group, the Tuffy Solutions. We've got ProWay Solutions, VP Transportation, Excite Bio, Best Safety Training, the Yarmouth Group, Below Average Golfer, and SRS Detailing. Every single one of them, Tulsville Windows, Inventory Express, just every single one of them that helped out this year with fulfilling what we wanted to get to for the championship, all made it that much worthwhile. Well,
you did dynamite, and we can't thank you enough for your time joining us here on Race Time Radio. Congratulations on the Qwick Super Stock Championship, Pete, and I know we look forward to catching up with you wherever you end up, bud.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it, Joe.
You betcha. That is Pete Vanderwyst, driver of the number 7. He comes away with the championship. Dynamite job. We got to congratulate the 43 of Jay Dewar, also the Super Stock champion at Delaware Speedway on the Saturday program and the Friday night program, if you will. But that is going to bring us to the top of the hour. And we're going to throw it back to Toronto, get you up to date on some news and highlights. And then we're back for hour 2. Stay with us. We'll be back.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM, Channel 167.
RaceTime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the RaceTime Radio broadcast crew. Also by APX Racewear, the motorsports leader in custom crew apparel and fire suits. Also by the Wooden Door Bistro.
Got Chase Elliott. He gets turned into the outside wall. Holy cow!
The thrill of the race.
Way sideways. Definitely sliding into it, out of control.
It's unbelievable how quickly things can change in racing.
You just never know how it's going to play out.
Insider access to the drivers.
We'll roll with it. We're enjoying it. We'll collect as many trophies as we can.
All right, let's go finish this thing, baby.
It's the new normal. Better figure it out.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Thank you. You are the man.
We're back with hour number 2 of Race Time Radio. With the 2 Joes here on Race Time Radio on SiriusXM 167, where Canada talks.
And just like that, hour number 2 begins, and you only got one Joe tonight. The other Joe is still at Delaware Speedway, finishing up the 2022 NASCAR Pinty Series. Cars are still on track right now. The 9 of Brendan Watson leads the 80 of, I want to say that is Donald Teague. Back to the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. And to his outside, the 20 car of Trayton Lapsevich. Still anybody's game here, but I do believe Watson has pretty well led absolutely every lap, other than a few that DJ Kennington has led in that 17 Castrol Edge Dodge. The green flag comes out. We will get you more as things unfold here. But let's get back to the hotline, shall we? And let's welcome in a good buddy of Racetime Radio. It is Tim Terry from Tim'sMotorsports.com, and he is with us. Timmy, what's going on?
What's going on, Joe? How's everything in Ontario?
We're okay here. How are things out there? It sounds like it got pretty ripped up out in the Halifax area, and I know you were out and around the province today. What all did you see?
So I'm on the side of the province that came pretty much unscathed. I'm in Yarmouth right now. We just finished off the Lake Dowsett Motor Speedway season finale, their fun day. Great day, awesome people. I can't say anything bad about this racetrack. Great racing too. Sportsman division's always close. But they came out unscathed. Everybody else from Halifax on up pretty much got a wallop. Sydney postponed their card for next weekend already because the devastation in the city. Racetrack got away pretty much unscathed. Lyndon told me the pit booth has a new location on the property. But he said other than that, he said everything else seemed to be pretty status quo, other than we can't, in good mind, put on a race when everything around us is not right.
Right. It would have been hard getting fans out, too, I can well imagine. There would have been a lot of cleanup, even if they didn't get, really nailed. It looked like any of the footage I seen from downtown Halifax, there seemed to be a lot of leaves and a lot of crap down that people were cleaning up today.
A lot of leaves, a lot of limbs. Dartmouth got hit hard. I talked briefly with Lawrence Hopper. The racetrack, Scotia Speedway currently has no power. Our ETA for restoration Wednesday, I think. So it's going to make it a very quick turnaround to get the facility ready to go racing for next weekend's Tigercraft 200 in the Tim's Corner Motorsports finale Friday for the CarStar Weekly Series. But I think they can get it turned around. Most of our teams are ready to go because they were ready to go last week before Fiona swept through. So I think if there's any silver lining to all of this, I think that's probably what it is.
Well, and let's hope, right? Let's hope we get some beautiful weather next weekend to offset the crap that rolled through there this weekend. Hopefully we get blessed with a beautiful, beautiful East Coast weekend out there to wrap up the season at Scotia Speed World. And not to mention, you still got to wrap up the 2022 edition of the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour. You've got, is there still a championship there, or has the 99 got it in the bag, or who's the points leader right now?
So kind of based off the way the rules are written, as long as he makes a pace lap, and he being Craig Slonwhite, he's locked up the championship, pending post-race technical inspection or whatever else goes through there. But he's pretty much got it locked up, just has to make a pace lap. And I'm gonna liken the championship picture on our series to what they had down here at Lake Dowsett with the Sportsman division. Kyle Hines won that division down here, and he said, I feel like I don't deserve the championship because I've had too many mulligans. You look at the tour this year, everybody, including Craig Slonwhite, you think back to the IWK 250. He didn't finish the way he wanted to, almost didn't start that race. The Summer Clash 250 kind of had the same issue. If we look back last week, albeit not a hard points race, but the Mike Stevens Memorial, he had bad luck up there. He just no luck in these big races. But everybody else had mulligans too throughout the season. It's just that Craig minimized those mulligans in order to have a championship lead enough to go in and try to start this race and win a second consecutive title. Yeah,
and you're right, Tim, that he either had a really good day or he had a really bad day. And I know, like you say, that IWK 250, when they were doing the motor swap out and, they had guys running all the way back to Halifax and, grabbing engines and parts and trying to get it all together, and then for things to just have fallen flat the way that it did was a real heartbreak for the 99. But you know what? That's the way it happens, and that'll turn you into a good racer. And definitely the 99 has really been tearing it up here the last couple seasons with the title last year, and I don't know how many feature wins he had, but he was on the show every week as the winner. He had a real dynamite series last year, and it hasn't been no slouch this year, other than a few races where other guys have gone to victory lane. Ashton Tucker comes to mind. Cole Butcher won. Like there has been the wins, but hey, I think we're going to be in for a dynamite last race of the season next weekend when we get to Saturday. It's a 200-lap race, and if there's anything I've ever noticed, Tim, with that series, in a 200-lap race, lots can change.
Absolutely. We've got, as far as I know, we're going back to the old rules where we have a halfway break at 100 that you can, as far as I know, it's a 6-tire race. I don't want to speak at a school, but I'm pretty sure it is a 6, where you can put 2 tires on the car at some point during the race and kind of play with that way. But there's all kinds that are going to change. There's 21 cars scheduled to be there yesterday that we had to postpone the race 1 week. Gary Elliott is not going to be there because he's going to Flamborough next weekend. So we're down to 20. But it's anybody's race at the end of the day. Craig Slomwhite's won 4. He told the Herald he should have won 6, which he was in a photo finish with Ashton Tucker earlier this year. He could have won PEI with everything that went on a green-white checker there this year. The first race at Riverside where he got tangled up with the 67 of Blankhorn, he could have won that one. Easily, Slomwhite, out of 11 races, Slomwhite could have won 7. He's just been that good. It's been a championship season for him. Could be the first time we have a back-to-back champion since John Fleming in, I think, 13 and 14. You just don't usually see these runs on this series, but somebody's going to want to try to win that race on Saturday. You know Craig's going to be gunning for it because he's got realistically nothing to lose. Got 19 others that want to finish the season off with a checkered flag.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned the name, John Fleming, driver of the 97. Do you think we're going to see him back out? I know the car has been out. Are we going to see Johnny Boy back out for one last kick at the can this year?
Unless he has plans for next weekend, I think the answer is yes. He went to the 250 in Fredericton, and one of his crew guys kind of told me we were throwing adjustments at it and going backwards instead of forwards. And just wasn't our weekend. I know the last time we were at the Summer Clash 250, they were throwing everything from tire adjustments to it to, I know in the middle of the week they changed carburetors Friday before qualifying. They were changing shocks and springs. They just haven't hit on something, and we all know that once John Fleming and Pat Ryder and that team hit on something, they're going to hit on it and they're going to run with it. So I'm interested to see what, and not in a bad way, what Team Fleming shows up to the racetrack on Saturday. Is it one of those teams that's going to show up and contend for the win, or are they going to be thrashing and trying to search and trying to find something when the green flag flies?
Yeah, and then add in guys like the 67 of Blankhorn. Hopefully he shows up, and he's got, that Auto World number 67 out there. You know he's got to be gunning for another win.
So they pulled motors after the Summer Clash 250, and he will be the first one to tell you we haven't put the motor back in the car. So I would say unless they get adventurous this week, the answer is probably going to be no on the 67. They bypassed the Mike Stevens Memorial. I know Dylan was looking at the event, but he's been busy with his businesses up home. And, I know the one thing, I'm sitting here with a car that should have a motor in it at some point going through Auto World because this Chevrolet 3.5, we can't figure out what's wrong with it. I got a call from Donnie today, and they said, we don't have any power on Roby Street. They're thinking Wednesday by the time we get back up.
Wow.
So they're busy on the business side as well. Would love to see Dylan back in the car. I heard rumors he's potentially dabbling in some sportsman stuff. He won a ATV drag race at the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition this year. So he's been busy doing other things, just not in the pro stock side of things. Would love to see him there. Obviously, the Butcher brothers are going to be strong. Nicholas Noggle was racing down south to Five Flags this weekend. Not sure if he's back up home or not for next weekend or not. Marty Prevost is going to be there. Tony Leonard's going to be there. Been trying to twist the arm of Waylon Farrell and Wyatt McCullough to bring that car out for one more run. Matt Vaughn's had an incredible season. Russell Smith Jr.'s knocking on the door of victory lane. Donald Chisholm's going to be strong. I don't have the entry list in front of me, but you've got 20-plus strong cars getting ready to go for it, and it's a 200-lap race. There's a lot that can happen over 200 laps.
No, it's going to be lights out. It always is, Tim, and I always look forward to the 200 to cap the season out there in the Maritime Pro Stock Tour. Tim, you've been doing a dynamite job with Tim's Corner TV. You literally have been everywhere this year. You've had some dynamite races on. If there's a race on and it's a big race in the Maritimes, chances are you've got it and you're doing it live. Same thing for next weekend, right? You got Friday night, you'll be doing all that action, and then right into Saturday. Is that the plan right now?
Yep, absolutely. We'll be there Friday night with the Car Star Weekly Racing Series, as we've been every Friday night for their season finale. 6 champions to crown. There's 2 or 3 divisions that are kind of signed, sealed, and delivered right now. The other ones are close. The Fleet Break Atlantic Late Model Sportsman fight has been a fight all season long. It's going to come down to one final 38-lap feature between 3 of the biggest names in Nova Scotia late model racing in the likes of Devin Smith, Pete Miller, and Alex Johnson. That's going to be one to watch. And then on Saturday, we've got the Tire Craft 200 and also season finales, not only for the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour, but also for the Maritime League of Legends Tour and the Passion Flooring East Coast Mini Stock Tour as well. So that's going to be a good show. We'll have the October 15th race at Petty Pro Stock finale up there for their local stuff, their open show, $4,000 to win sportsman race, and all the rest of their champions being crowned on October 15th. And then who knows what happens with the Bud Speedway race that we just got canceled today due to Fiona. Who knows where that lands? Our goal is to be there with video. It's just a matter of where that event lands and who we can get for crew. And I know our crew, we're a bunch of amateurs that go up the road. We got a bunch of 4-cylinder guys that used to race cars that wanted to be a part of the show that they couldn't be a part of. So we're having fun. We're doing a good job. And want to give a shout out to Rev TV as well. They picked up the Summer Clash 250. I actually ran into somebody at the racetrack today that said, I watched the 250 last night at 4 a.m. in the morning. You guys did a great job on it, whatever else. And the Tire Craft 200, once we get this race done, it'll be packaged and ready for all those racing.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's cool. I was going to mention that as well on Rev TV. If you have not subscribed to Rev TV Canada yet, and you are anywhere across this country, now is actually a really, really good time to subscribe to the channel. We're heading into the off season. As mentioned there, Tim's got races that are going to be on there. The Clash, the 250 was just off the rails. If you don't know what I mean, trust me when I say you got to watch that race. It was, Tim, it would have shown really well, I can well imagine.
Off the rails is an understatement. That was a wild race to say the least. Tempers flared. We had fuel mileage, anything you'd ever want from a stock car race. I think we had a little bit of it at the 250. But a great show nonetheless, and a memorable show at the end of it with Ashton Tucker taking away the win on a essentially 3-wide finish to the end. That was a great show. I know I talked to Mike and Ed. We've got the Mike Stevens race in there on the can. Sometime for the winter, if they ever need content, it's going to be on there as well. That was a great race last weekend. Jason Carnahan and all of the staff there at Petty Raceway, Wayne and Ellen Smith, did a great job putting that together, and just a great event. And one of those marquee events that if you've never been to Petty International Raceway, put that one on your bucket list. Get out here and enjoy it. But it's always great to see our stuff on Rev, and I know our producers and everything else get that little extra feather in their cap when they get to sit back and say, hey, I produced that thing. Exactly. And nowhere else in Canada and not any other channel can you go to and watch the RS1 Cup Series from BC and then turn around and, a couple days later, if not within hours, turn around and pick up East Coast Pro Stock Tour racing and all points in between. Rev TV Canada's got a lot of things to be proud of right now, and there's going to be a lot more subscribers to that channel. You can bet. There's a lot of great races, Tim. That as we go throughout the course of our busy summers, not all of us get a chance to see everything all the time, and it's kind of refreshing to be able to do that in the off season and flick that on and watch it for the first time. It's cool. Well, that's just it, and it doesn't matter if it's Rev TV or the Tim's Corner subscription or, what Tony does with Pit Row TV and Cars Tour and whatever. It's always nice to have that content in the off-season when you're kind of, in that funk trying to wait for that next season to roll around. As Joe, you know as well as I do, the off-season in Canada is longer than anywhere else. And it's colder than anywhere else. Yes. I know Robert Hart always said to me, hey, Joe, the beer's always colder at New Smyrna Speedway. Well, just like he always says that, I can always say, well, in the winter, the off-season's always colder up here. Absolutely, 100%. And I know if there's cold beer to be found in the Maritimes, I know Brad Mann has got it, so we got to ask him the next time where the coldest beer in the off-season is around here. Yeah, we'll have to do that, absolutely. So things fire off Friday night. One of those common denominators, one guy I'm going to be watching, Tim, has got to be Miller. Man, that guy's had a great year. Except for Riverside, where he finished 5th. He hasn't had a feature finish worse wins in the AJK, wins at the Superior Foundations 100. He's holding the hot hand. He's got the biggest hole to climb out of, too. So it's hard to beat Devin Smith. Devin Smith had to come from a bent rear end in the heat race last week to finish fourth. And if he wins the championship, that's the night that saves it. But that's going to be a great show. TCM finale Friday, 7 o'clock on Friday. Get to the racetrack. 6 champions to be crowned. Final races of the season. And then we go on Saturday with those 3 touring divisions. And that's going to wrap up the Scotia Speed World side of things for the season. Lake Dowsett just wrapped up today with their deal. Sydney's waiting for their one rescheduled event. Oyster Bed's been done for almost a month. Fredericton wrapped up today. I haven't seen any results from Fredericton yet. Petty's got one more, but it's pretty slim pickings here for the next couple of weeks. Miramichi's got a big street stock race next week as well. But other than that, it's getting closer to banquet season and rules meetings and starting the fires all over again for 2023.
Absolutely. I know we've got Frosttoberfest coming up, Flamborough Speedway, and then we head to the 29th annual Autumn Colors Classic weekend. I know you have taken in the Autumn Colors weekend. You did last year, too. Are you coming back this year, Timmy?
I would love to be there. I just don't think the cards are going to be in the favor this year. I know I went up with Robbie Thompson last year, and he did a lot of Legends racing down here up until last year. Then he got crazy and bought himself a dirt track. So he's been busy with that. They actually have 3 races left to go. They lost one last weekend. Their first race they lost all season due to rain. They're going to make that up at the end of the season. But they race next Sunday. They race the weekend after Thanksgiving Day weekend. And then they run October 23rd to close off their season. Most racing of anybody to do in October is Robbie and Chris is over at Valley Raceway. But I'd love to get up to Autumn Colors Classic. That was a blast last year. Love that event. I just don't think it's going to be in the cards this year. But I know Justin Collison was on me after we did all the iRacing stuff this year. You got to come to Flamborough. You got to come up for Frosttoberfest. And it's just right now we still got racing over here. It's just not in the cards right now. But who knows what might change in the next couple of weeks. I don't know where. Well, I know I'm going to Scotia Speed World next weekend, but other than that, I have no idea what I'm doing on Sunday.
Well, I know, Tim, we will be following along with absolutely everything you do, and we much appreciate the time and all your efforts out there on Canada's East Coast to keep us all up to date all the way across, right across the country with Tim's Corner TV and Tim's Corner Motorsports. You do a phenomenal job, my friend, and this has been great catching up with you tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it, Joe. It's been a good time, and we'll get. I'm going to get some sleep in Yarmouth, and hopefully this car makes it back on the 5-ish cylinders that it's got left, and we'll get back to Scotia Speed World and get power back at the racetrack and get everything good back up for next week. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a great weekend. If you can't be at the racetrack, tickets on sale right now at ScotiaSpeedWorld.ca. TimsCorner.tv is going to have it, but the best way to enjoy it is at the racetrack. So get there. We're going to have fun Friday night with the Car Star Weekly Racing Series as we usually do, and then we're going to cap off that ECI Pro Stock Tour on Saturday.
Sounds absolutely awesome. Tim, take your own advice. Keep the hammer down, my friend.
I'm going to get some sleep in Yarmouth before I do that, but we'll be back at it tomorrow. You can count on that.
Sounds awesome. Thanks so much, Tim, for the time.
Awesome. Anytime, Joe. Thank you.
You bet. Tim Terry out on Canada's East Coast. What a guy. Just a dynamite job. You want to catch some great racing next Friday night, you can do that. Get to timscorner.tv. You don't want to miss it. And same thing with that Tirecraft 200. It's going to be off the rails as well. We got so much to look forward to and only a few more weeks to get absolutely all of it in. We are going to hit a break. When we come back, we're going to go to Canada's West Coast, and we are going to grab ourselves Ryley Seibert. I'm also having a peek at what's happening at Delaware Speedway. Brandon Watson wins his first NASCAR Pinty's race. He did it in his number 9 and peeled off the rookie stripe off the back of the car. He is now no longer a rookie in the series. And the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron is just rolling in to victory lane as the champion. So we're going to try and shake these guys down in the second half of this next hour and see what all we can come up with. But I do know we got Ryley Seibert coming up on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
She was a girl in a short dress. I was a boy in a charcoal vest.
coast to coast. You're listening to Canada Talks.
Hey, this is JP from Peterborough Speedway. This Thanksgiving weekend, October the 7th to 9th, we're hosting our annual Autumn Colors Classic, the biggest racing event in Ontario. 3 days of racing action at Peterborough Speedway presented by Lucas Oil in Pure Country.
All right, man, you're ready to go.
This year, the Speedway hosts 10 divisions of racing action with the best drivers in the country appearing. Friday, it's first round qualifying for the Bone Stocks, Mini Stocks, Super Stocks, Legends, Hot Rods, along with the Young Gun races.
You know you gotta do.
Gates will open at 5 and racing will start at 6. Saturday, October the 8th, it's second round qualifying action with B features, the late models and junior late models along with outlaw midgets added to the bill. Sunday, October the 9th wraps it all up with feature events for all divisions, including the late model Electric City 167. Peterborough Speedway and Pure Country bring you to Crown Jewel Racing, the 29th annual Autumn Colors Classic weekend of October the 7th to the 9th. Visit peterboroughspeedway.com to book your tickets in advance.
Good job, driver, good job!
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how. AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. APX Racewear. Look, feel, be epic at epicracewear.ca.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alper.
Rush holds a special place in our hearts and in the record books. They've sold more than 40 million copies around the world. They have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Officers of the Order of Canada. And they've released 24 gold records and 14 platinum albums, placing them 5th for the most consecutive gold or platinum studio albums by any rock band.
From the high banks of Daytona, we cover it all. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal! Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Race Time Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio with you live tonight on SiriusXM, Channel 167, Canada Talks, live on RaceTimeRadio.com, and live on our new YouTube page, live at RaceTime Radio TV. So glad you could tune in, everybody. We are going to get Ryley Seibert up on this hotline. We're digging away there. Sue will get Ryley up on the hotline, and we'll talk to him about his RS1 Cup Series Championship, of course, all presented by Super Seal. And, it was Ryley that went to Victory Lane, and he did a dominating fashion last week, winning both feature races from Area 27 to cap the season off and to claim championship. He did that, so it was a great weekend for Ryley Seibert. Speaking of good weekends, man, it was a beautiful weekend at Delaware Speedway. Did they ever do a dynamite job this weekend? With championship racing on Friday night, Joe Lawrence comes away with the Bone Stock Championship. They crowned the champion in the V8 Super Stock. That was a new class that sort of worked out for everybody. Then on to Friday night they went. Pete Vanderwyst ends up winning the championship there in the Super Stock division for Qwick. J.R. Fitzpatrick wins in APC. The 96 car of Marc-Antoine Caron goes to Victory Lane, or not to Victory Lane, but to Championship Circle in the NASCAR Pinty Series just moments ago. He is the champion for 2022. But what do you say? We do have Ryley up on the hotline now. Let's talk some RS1 Cup Series with the champion himself for 2022, Ryley Seibert. What's going on there, champ? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I know I was really looking forward to catching up with all of you last week, and then I ended up getting the cold from hell, so to speak, but I'm okay now. You had yourself a really, really good weekend at Area 27 to claim the championship, winning both feature races. What's that all about, man? You one-upped all of them.
I ended up kind of surprising myself with that one. The plan going into the weekend was to be, conservative and try and just find a way to finish well enough to capture the championship. And then I don't know, I guess I turned on an extra switch there and qualified on pole, second and a half ahead of second place there, ahead of Sean. And once I saw that on the timesheets, I just thought, well, I best just go for it here, and ended up, going 2 for 2 on the road course wins there. So got the job done on the road course, so nobody can say I just won it on the ovals.
Exactly. You're getting to be good at both ends of it here, Ryley. You've always been good on the oval side of things, but the road course now is got to be one of your fortes. Do you enjoy one more than the other type of configuration now, or do you look at both of them going, yeah, man, I can't wait to get to both?
It's, I kind of view them as almost like two separate sports almost, even though you're in the same car. I look forward to the ovals because it's just constant traffic, and I really like dealing with traffic. I find that I can pick my way through. I can use lap traffic to my advantage if I need to. Whereas the road course is just a separate challenge. You're through the gearbox a ton of times, and compression braking the car, and you got like at Area 27, you got 16 turns to deal with. So a lot of calling on memory and remembering where the brake zones are and the throttle points and stuff like that. A road course, so it's different challenges. They're not really the same beast, and they're both just, I don't know, I love them both.
Well, you were up for the challenge, so to speak, this year. You had your way with absolutely everything, whether it be Pro Late Model, starting the whole season out with the Rattler 300 win at Penticton Speedway. You parlayed that big race and that big win into what really was, I'm going to call a dream season. Would you call it a dream season from your side? Because it sure as hell looked like it.
Oh, it was, last year I had the season from down under there. It didn't go my way very well, just with some mechanical bad luck and some other things. And I just did the Western Rattler 300 win, and even from the time I took the green flag on that thing, it just felt different. And I don't know, it's been a snowball rolling here for the rest of the year, and it was a nice bookend, to say the least here, where won $10,000 at the Western Rattler 300 to start the year, and won $10,000 in the championship bonus at the end of the year for the RS1 Cup Series. So kind of squared off my year and my season quite nicely there, and ended up bringing home just shy of 24 grand in the RS1 Cup Series, and another 10 grand on the Western Rattler 300. So I did pretty good this year, and looking forward to to the future and what I can do more of, and how I can continue to develop and learn.
Wow, amazing, to say the least. That is really cool that you had the success that you did over the course of this year. Did you get out much after the Western Rattler 300 in your Pro Late Model style car, or was it just that weekend that you had that car out, and then you switched your focus right over into RS1?
Well, I didn't really plan on running it that much because of just other schedule issues with the RS1 races as well as work, and so I didn't really have any big plans on running it. But I ended up running it a couple weeks ago at Penticton Speedway, just in the local show, late model show, and ended up winning that night as well. So I'm 2 for 2 in main events in that car, and 100% win percentage right now in that car. So yeah, feeling really good putting that thing in the box for the winter, and not a scratch on it, and 2 wins, and seeing what we can come back with in the spring for the next 300 and maybe some other. I mean, it's such a great piece that McCall built there, and it's super tunable. You and I talked earlier about getting out to the East Coast, so I'll be looking to next year at trying to maybe do 1 or 2 more big money races and see what I got in that car.
That would be so cool, Ryley. I know you guys are extremely busy as well. Life does get in the way, and I know everybody's got a job to do Monday to Friday, so it gets a little testing, a little hard. When you look and say, well, okay, I'm going to go race that race on the other end of the country, it can sometimes be a real challenge. But, with the long enough runway, you can, sort of fit those cherry-pick those big events. And I know they would fit you like a glove to see you in some of those races, particularly, I would have to say the IWK 250 out on Canada's East Coast. It would be kind of suiting to see you out there in that. But, it is what it is, too. You got a very busy season, a lot of good races to do out in British Columbia. The RS1 Cup Series this year, Ryley, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that series feels as though it hit another gear, a totally different level this year, with a car count was right up around that 24 cars each and every time you guys took to the racetrack, which has got to be a challenge to go out and win when you got that many cars on the track. And it looks like things are growing real good for that RS1 Cup Series.
Oh yeah, no, it was another notch this year, having the prize money come into play, and we're now at the end of the season, and things are closed off, and it's that time where we're going to sit down and look like, what did we do right, what did we do wrong, make a list and come up with some more improvements and things we want to change and to get it to the next level again. We got 27 cars in the stable now, and we're looking for more people to help look after and maintain and repair cars, and reaching out to more marketing partners and media and stuff like that to get more exposure for our drivers as well. And so there's definitely big potential, and we announced it at the drivers meeting. I shouldn't say we. Avion announced it at the drivers meeting that we're looking into a winter tour in California and Arizona. So it might see the RS1s down places like Laguna Seca or Infineon, Tucson for the Oval, and try and maybe do 2 or 3 snowbird races just to keep everybody on their toes and something a little special down there. So that's the next step for us and what we're looking into, and it's still on the planning stages, and I think you'd see it if we did it in the first quarter of 2023, but it's quite possible that we're going to do it.
Oh, man, isn't that would be too cool. I'll tell you what, there'd be a lot of U.S. Contingent that would really, really enjoy those RS1 Cup cars. Not to mention the Canadian guys would want to go down there and do a little bit of winter heat racing, if you will, in an RS1 Cup car on a totally different racetrack again. And that's the unique part about the RS1 Cup Series. Not only are they identically prepared, all come out of the same shop, all come out with the same setup under them, but to get the diversity and variety of a different configuration racetrack and put different drivers in some of them, man, I'll tell you what, this is the stuff that, the dreams are made of.
Yeah, I think we got a pretty good product, and I know everybody's super proud of it, and we want to make sure to showcase the depth of the field that we have out here. It's there's no shortage of talented drivers with, Sean McIntosh and Cameron Haley, and of course my dad Trevor, and even Sean's cousin Mark McIntosh has come a long way, and he's a real threat to the top 5 now. The Dowler boys are mixed in there. Of course, everybody knows Noel from the National Series and what he did, and he won a couple of races this year with us, and his brother Adam, and then his youngest brother Griffin, who's has been to the World's finals in go-karting a few times. He's coming out and he's getting his first little experience in full body stock cars to make that next step. So huge talent coming out of there, and lots of development, and we're hoping that it's it really grows the population and the talent pool out here, and gets the seat time that all these development drivers out west were missing.
Absolutely. We are with Ryley Seibert. He is your 2022 Super Seal RS1 Cup Series champion out on Canada's west coast. As mentioned, Ryley, you've got a fork stuck in the season now. That does do it for everything. What do you do from here now? I know your dad's probably going to say, okay, now you're working some overtime for all the days that you missed going racing. But what is the plan for you from here until, Christmas or so?
Well, we'll see. We were joking the other day, the group that I do contract coaching with, we were joking that it's almost simulator season. We get it. I've got a really expensive simulator that I do iRacing on. And, of course, it's a winter sport for me because that's when construction slows down, and that's when I get back into it. So that'll be one part of my winter plans is to get back into the simulator seat and kind of stay fresh that way. We do the 24 hours of Daytona every year on iRacing, a team of us. Last year we finished second in the LMP2 car. So, it just kind of turns into a bit more fun. And then, of course, maybe get south of the border for some real racing in an RS1 car to stay fresh. And then, of course, I'm an avid backcountry snowmobiler, so you'll probably see my social media. You'll see some pictures of me out in the mountains getting some fresh air here this winter as well. Yeah,
nothing wrong with that at all, but just keep your eyes peeled, man. That gets hairy out there in BC. You can have a lot of fun, but you got to keep your eyes wide open, I can well imagine.
Oh, yeah, that's part of the excitement, right?
Yeah, I guess. The sponsorship on your race cars, who all have you got on your cars? I know, not only your Pro Late model, but your RS1 Cup car.
So the Pro Late model has a great big lake excavating decal on the side of it. Our main business that was the parent company that started all this other madness that we have now. They're on the Pro Late model, and we look after that, do a ton of mining and earthworks and all kinds of civil construction with that business. And then my RS1 for the last 2 years has been Super Seal Construction Products, and definitely got to thank them. Kind of met them through Area 27 back in 2017. I was out working a broom, if you can believe it, out at the racetrack there, and the owner of Super Seal drove in, and I kind of had a bit of an idea who he was, and went over and introduced myself, and so to all the young racers out there that are always looking for that opportunity, best piece of advice is you never know who's who and who's got backing and who's got a love for racing. So it's a bit of a tip to making sure you're nice to everybody and don't ever overthink things like that, because opportunities come in the weirdest times.
Yeah, you're right. You never know who's going to come up, especially when you're the guy with the broom and, somebody comes up and asks you a question. You just never, ever know. Ryley Seibert, this has been great catching up with you tonight. Congratulations on a dynamite season. Congratulations on the Super Seal RS1 Cup Series Championship. And all I can tell you, man, is I can't wait to find out what you do for an encore in 2023. And I know we all look forward to seeing the schedule and how everything else rolls out. And I know Race Time Radio will be well on top of it through the off season. We'll get Al on here lots, and we may even shake your tree every now and then, champ, to find out what's happening.
Right on. Well, I appreciate the support that you guys give us, and it's always great to talk to you on Race Time Radio for sure.
You bet. Congratulations on the championship, and you have a good one.
Thank you, and you too.
That's Ryley Seibert, the champ for 2022. Man, did he do a good job behind the wheel. You can catch all those RS1 Cup Series races on Rev TV Canada. You watch. Anytime now, I can well imagine the guys will be stacking them up and you'll be able to watch the full season in a day. And you want to do that. Check out that RS1 Cup Series, the Western Rattler 300 as well on Rev TV Canada. You can see all of that right on Canada's Motorsport Network channel, Rev TV Canada. We're going to hit this final break of the show. We're going to try and check in with Delaware Speedway. We'll see if we can get a hold of Brandon Watson, the winner of today's race. Well, I say we'll try. Well, I don't know for sure. We're going to give him a shout here over the commercial break. We'll definitely try and reach out to Junior. We got to get you some information from Delaware Speedway and today's final NASCAR Pinty Series Championship race. Congratulations to the 96. We may even try Marc Antoine on the other side of the break. Stay with us. We will be back. All live tonight on Race Time Radio.
Poor pitiful me, roaming through them trees. Won't you help me out in the North Country? Underneath them pines, in the green plush scenery.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew. Also by the Wooden Door Bistro.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Hey, this is JP from Peterborough Speedway. This Thanksgiving weekend, October the 7th to 9th, we're hosting our annual Autumn Colors Classic, the biggest racing event in Ontario. 3 days of racing action at Peterborough Speedway presented by Lucas Oil in Pure Country.
All right, man, get ready to go.
This year, the Speedway hosts 10 divisions of racing action with the best drivers in the country appearing. Friday, it's first round qualifying for the Bone Stocks, Mini Stocks, Super Stocks, Legends, Hot Rods, along with the Young Gun races.
You know you gotta do.
Gates will open at 5 and racing will start at 6. Saturday, October the 8th, it's second round qualifying action with B features, the late models and junior late models along with outlaw midgets added to the bill. Sunday, October the 9th wraps it all up with feature events for all divisions, including the late model Electric City 167. Peterborough Speedway and Pure Country bring you to Crown Jewel Racing, the 29th annual Autumn Colors Classic weekend of October the 7th to the 9th. Visit peterboroughspeedway.com to book your tickets in advance.
Good job, driver, good job.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, Port Hawkesbury, New Glasgow, and Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to the track. Live on Racetime Radio, SiriusXM 167.
And welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio, all live tonight on SiriusXM, channel 167, Canada Talks, live on RaceTimeRadio.com, and how about our new Facebook page, Facebook, our new YouTube channel, and that is RaceTimeRadioTV. Check it out. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you don't mind. We'd much appreciate it. We had a little kerfuffle off the beginning of the show, with the audio not going down the line. But I do believe we've got everything all sorted out, and we did quite early on. But, man, I'll tell you what, busy show tonight. We're trying to shake down and see who we can get from Delaware Speedway. Of course, today, the NASCAR Pinty Series came to an end, and it was Brandon Watson winning today's race in the number 9 car. Brandon won his first NASCAR Pinty Series race. We also have Marc-Antoine Cameron as the series champion in the Paille Chevrolet, the number 96. He did a great job this year, and we're reaching out and seeing who we can gather and seeing who we can get from the track, and we'll see if we can get you some totally up-to-date information from the Speedway. And I know Sue is working on that as we speak. And what do you got? You got Junior. You got Junior on the hotline. That's good. We can pull Junior up on this show. I've been missing him here in the studio tonight. Junior, what's going on? You have a good weekend or what? Whoop, what do you say? I turned the right channel up. There.
Definitely an up and down weekend.
Up and down weekend. I had the wrong channel up, buddy, but I got the right one up there now. What's going on? So the rain finally quit and the cars hit the racetrack. You guys got a full race in today.
Yeah, we did. It was now the fans did get to watch about 25 to 30 green or yellow flag laps. While trying to keep the track dry through a couple of rain showers, but I think everybody would agree that they got to see the full race, and they definitely got a little bit of everything out of that Pinty's Fall Brawl here at Delaware Speedway. It was an incredible race. It definitely came down to the wire. Donald Teague and Brandon Watson, they showed a tremendous amount of short track courtesy, but also aggression at the same time. I think they would both agree. They both made contact with one another. They both, raced each other extremely hard, but neither one of them impeded the forward direction of either one of their race cars. And Brandon Watson was just the one to come out on top.
Yeah, he sure was. And Brandon had a good car all day long. Watching the race in the first half, before we went on the air, watching the number 9, he looked stout. There was a couple of restarts in there where the 17 of DJ Kennington started on the inside. Of course, the 9 took the high side of the preferred lane on the restart. And it kind of looked like the old guy was going to get her done. Got out and did lead a few laps, but it didn't take the 9 car too long before he found his way back around the 17 car. And he just sort of maintained that, that 5-6 car length lead from what I could see, Junior, for pretty well the race. Now, I know in the second half of the race, we were on the air, so I wasn't really able to focus in on what all was happening, but I did see your number 27 of Andrew Ranger just about make it over on his lid. The 27 really went for a ride there. Is Andrew okay? And I know the car really went flying.
Yeah, Andrew's okay. It was definitely a very unfortunate set of circumstances. The 8 car of Rafael Lessard, he was racing right up front. Don't know where he was at, whether he was in the second row or whether he was in the first row. I can't remember where he was in relation to how the entire deal got started, but he was right at the front. We had just cycled back. We were the 27 was a trapped car on the most recent yellow to that. So we had cycled back to the last car on the lead lap. And when we took the green, I believe we were restarting in the 13th or 14th spot. The handling was going away on the 27, basically from the mid pack or the mid portion of that race. I swear we got hit by every car in the field throughout the day, and knocked in the brake or the brake cooling system. Excuse me, and the brake cooling system started to give up the ghost a bit. So our handling was already kind of struggling. So Meyer just back in the pack quite a ways, and unfortunately, when the 8 car got turned, it collected everybody to the outside wall, and Ranger was in that sweet spot where really, racers say there was nowhere to go, and in some wrecks and in some instances, this was truly that. The seas parted for a split second, and the water came rushing back in, and lo and behold, it ended up with Ranger up on top of Tagliani. Tags, car took a tremendous amount of damage, and so did Ranger's. Ranger is okay. Talked to him after, and we'll limp on to fight another season out in 2023.
Yeah, just amazing. I know it sounds like you've got that cold. Is it creeping in and grabbing you, bud?
Hey, I've spotted for 4 races this weekend. Spotted for a tremendous amount of laps. I feel great, but when you're spotting that much, it gives you a little bit of laryngitis, I think. So for sure, I thought maybe I was catching a little bit of a cold, but it's definitely just the old voice box got to work out.
Oh man, I'm glad to hear that. You started it all off. Let me see here. Back Friday night. You were, who did you spot for Friday night? I can't remember now right off the top of my head. I know you got a win on Saturday with Dale and Martin in the hot rod class.
Rick Verburn. I spotted for Rick Verburn in the Castrol number 88. We had a decent run going. Found that the sway bar was actually binding up on it by the sounds of it. And we actually ended up falling back to 8th on Friday night. The Qwick series, my lord, what a wild championship event. There was a little bit of everything in that one. Lane Zardo, Garrett Tmiersma, Dyson and Colliver, and all those guys could go to victory lane, and Rick Walt ended up picking up the win, but unfortunately ended up getting disqualified, which handed the win to Vanderwyst. A great showing for the Qwick Superstocks. Really a clean race, just a spectacular one. Then on Saturday, I got a chance to spot for my buddy Dale and Martin. We, of course, picked up the win in the Hot Rod Series. It was a lot of fun. Always a fun time spotting for him. And as well, I spotted for Josh Stoddy, who had a career best Delaware outing. Of course, he picked up a win earlier on in the year at Sauble, but Delaware is a rough track for him, and we ended up coming home with a third. So a great outing for the Ridgeline number 17. And then today, this is the down part.
Yeah.
We ended up with a busted up race car, but that's what happens in racing, and looking forward to Frostfest and as well October or Peterborough Autumn Colors, and we got a few more races to go this year.
That Ridgeline 17 car of Josh Stoddy coming home with that third place finish. Watching the broadcast on G-Force, guys did a great job all season long, but watching that, I believe it was Adam, or was it maybe even Jamie, saying that he was picking up on the 17 and watching the times. And tell you what, if that race would have been another 20 or 25 laps, you guys could have very, very easily ended up in victory lane. The 17 car was really coming to life towards the end of that race.
Hey, it's a normal thing for a spotter to do, is to look down at our monitor while the race is going on and tell, a little white lie to their driver. They say, you're 0.2 better than the field, or you're 0.3 better than the car up in front of you. Go get them,
Mm.
I thought I was doing that with Josh. When I looked down and I said, Josh, you're 0.2 better than everybody up in front of you. And I was looking at our monitor, and just as a glance, and lo and behold, we were 0.2 better than everybody, including the leader. And I said, man, go get it. And he started laying down qualifying laps, and man, there was times where he was a half a second faster than the leader, and the leader had clear track. it was incredible. His car just came to life about 40 laps to go, and I couldn't be happier for the guy. Get the monkey off his back, get a performance that's worth something at Delaware Speedway, and the guys at McCall and all those guys, they did a wonderful job. Just dialing Josh in, and it's not far from the old homestead for Mikey and those guys. So they definitely helped Josh out and gave him some of that secret sauce.
Yeah, he sure did. It was dynamite. Good running for you. It was a great weekend, Junior. We got to thank you for your time jumping on here. Next weekend, you head to Flamborough Speedway, I take it, for Frosttoberfest. So you'll probably be down there next Sunday as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The next couple ones here, we're gonna be traveling around a bit, but hey, I've got to give a huge shout out to Marc-Antoine Cameron for picking up the win, picking up the championship in the Penny Series. I have to give a huge shout out to J.R. Fitzpatrick for winning the APC championship. 2 monumental championships here in Canada, and hats off to both of them. I know that you definitely have said that in the air, but I want to go on record saying the same.
Absolutely. Good job, Junior. You have a safe drive home, and thanks so much for jumping on here and getting us up to date from Delaware.
Absolutely. Thanks.
You betcha. That's Joe Chisholm Jr., usually in the studio here with me, but had a busy weekend spotting for different competitors, as he always does, with the NASCAR Penny Series and the number 27 of Andrew Ranger. But that is going to do it for us tonight live on Racetime Radio. So glad everybody could tune in tonight. We really appreciate it. Got to thank all of our guests and champions here. And I know next week we will have a whole pile more for you. Everything gets underway at 7 p.m. every Sunday night, all live on SiriusXM, Channel 167 Canada Talks. Thanks to Susie here in the RTR studio, and thanks to absolutely all of you. Have a good race week, everybody, and we'll catch you next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Racetime Radio.
Thanks for listening to Racetime Radio. Visit us on the web at www.racetimeradio.com. We hope you'll join us again next time for more Racetime Radio.
Come on now, dig.
Exclusively on your home for the hardcore race fan.
Excellent, buddy, excellent.